It's time to break out of this cycle. Your new life is waiting. Hi, my name is Scola, and you are more powerful than you could ever imagine. Okay, so I am a nature babe, but I can definitely hear rustling in the bushes, so I might just catch my demise here on camera, so... Anyway guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about breaking cycles, breaking negative cycles, and this is one of the most difficult things to do. So just to give you a picture of what I'm talking about, if in your life right now you feel like there are certain things that always seem to happen to you and you can't seem to explain why they always seem to happen, and they're usually negative things that make you feel bad or keep you in a certain place of negativity mentally and sometimes physically as well. And these cycles can suck. Like, there are so many cycles that I feel like I've been stuck in and have always been part of my story, whether it be finances, relationships, everything. There are certain cycles that just seem to repeat themselves and you're just like, So we're going to be chatting about cycles and how to break out of them, and these also can apply to health and fitness, because I always hear time and time again people saying, I have tried everything, I've tried every diet under the sun, I've tried every exercise, yet I can't seem to get into it, I can't seem to make that lifestyle change. So we're going to be talking about that, okay? But before we do, if you like the vibes, if you like the energy, then please hit that subscribe button and the bell button so you get notified when I upload. And if you are already resonating with the stuff that I'm talking about, please feel free to comment down below any cycles that you feel you're stuck in and that you're going to try to get out of, because baby, by the end of this video I want at least some of us to be like, yeah. So there's this quote I always think of when it comes to breaking cycles, and it's that quote that goes, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results each time. And that is something I definitely do, and it's something that I've been doing for the past year. So I've been in a really bad place mentally, I would say, in the past year, and I would say I've been in a prison of my own making, because it's all been in my mind. I mean, there have definitely been things in my physical world that haven't made things easy, but at the end of the day, you can't control what's going on around you. You can only control how you react and what you do. And it's all about just making the best of whatever situation you're in, really. So I thought I'd go back and actually think of certain cycles that I've broken, and I can't tell any story without telling one of my first stories that I feel like changed my life forever, and that was my first weight loss journey when I was a teenager. And that's probably why a lot of you guys know who I am, why you're here. But I remember I was just like a very lazy, laid-back teen. Like, in my early teens, I just would come home after school, watch TV, eat whatever I wanted to eat and get on with my day. Do you know what I mean? I was already making videos as well, so I was just doing what kids do naturally, and that was completely fine. But it got to a point where my grades were slipping. I felt really lost, I felt really alone. I just felt like I wasn't doing as much as I should have been, and that's when my weight loss journey started. Now, yeah, that was definitely fueled by a lot of insecurity, bullying, and a lot of negativity, but I did make something positive out of something negative, because here I am sitting here today talking to you guys still. But I managed to break out the cycle because I stopped being who I was before. That doesn't mean I wasn't still Scola. I'm sure you guys can still see I'm still very much Scola, but my habits changed, how I spent my days, like everything changed. Like, I went from coming home after school and just winging it to having like a set routine. And I'm not saying you have to always do this in order to change your life, but I remember that, you know, I would come home, I'd make sure that I studied, I'd have a really nutritious meal, and then I would exercise, and I would still make videos for you guys as well. All of this discipline, all of this organization completely 360'd my life. And even till this day, the changes I made, I am still that person, because I hate a messy room, and now my home is always clean. I'm so much more organized, do you know what I mean? And I don't put things off. I tend to try to get things done as soon as possible. So those skills, those things that I learned back then are still ingrained with me today. And it's why I continue to see the changes and success in those areas of my life, because I made that change so long ago, and I broke that cycle of being that lazy, disorganized person a long time ago. And then the most recent is I never got to go to uni, which meant I never got to have that experience of living away from home, just having that experience, you know, that freedom. I absolutely love being at home, and I love living with my mum. Like, she is just the cutest, kindest person ever. But I really wanted to experience that freedom that I knew I needed to grow, spread my wings. And I wasn't terrible with my finances, but because living at home meant I didn't really have to budget as particularly as I do now. And so I had to learn how to budget. And I remember I had no way of actually really moving out. Like, I didn't plan it very well, and it was kind of a spontaneous kind of thing. But I knew in order to achieve the goal I wanted to achieve, I need to learn how to budget. And so I remember for months in advance, I started budgeting on a spreadsheet on Excel. Everything I was earning, everything I was spending, it was on this spreadsheet. And I started making these changes in my habits so that I could get to the place that I wanted to be. And lo and behold, everything worked out. And here I am. I've been living in my own flat going on to like 3 years now. And that's really exciting for me. But I know I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had the same mentality I had before I started budgeting. So do you see what I mean? Sometimes you have to break certain cycles, because I would always say, like, I don't have enough money to move out. It's impossible. I can't do it. But seeing it down on paper, making those changes meant that I could then achieve that goal. So that's just a little snippet just to tell you guys certain ways that I have broken cycles where I was like, I'm too broke to move out. I can never move out. And then, you know, at 25, 26, I managed to do it, you know? And now I'm in a place where I feel like I had so many cycles I was stuck in, and this year has been really tough. And when I say I was just so resistant to change, so resistant to changing myself, especially because I felt like I just wanted to be comfortable. And I think that is the biggest reason why a lot of people don't change the cycles that they're stuck in, is because you want to be comfortable. But you have to allow yourself to feel discomfort. Like, I don't want to budget. I want to be able to just tap my little Apple Pay, tap my little contactless and move on with my day and not think about money and not care. But I knew staying stuck in that cycle wasn't going to break me out of the cycle that I was in. So this past year, I've noticed how resistant I've been to change and how damaging it's been, because, you know, whether you're spiritual or religious or not, you can always feel when it's time for change, when it's time for the next step in your life. I hope you can't hear, there's like a lot of noise going on. I have my little fluffy thing on today to try and block out some of the noises. It's super windy and there are a lot of trees around me, so I hope this week, because last week was a bit of a disaster when it came to just all the sounds, everything going on, but this week I came prepared. I was so resistant to change this year, and I saw how negatively it's impacted me. And I keep looking back and I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish I'd just let go and allowed myself to change and evolve much sooner rather than doing it now. But I feel like I had to learn this lesson. And that's one thing I have to mention about breaking cycles, is sometimes you can't break them when you want to. Sometimes it is about timing, the right time. That being said, I do feel like there's never really a right time, but something just clicked recently where I noticed the changes and the tough work I'd been doing had actually paid off. And that felt amazing, but it hasn't been easy. I can't tell you how much I have cried, how anxious I've been, how on edge I've been, because I am constantly pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. Whether it's communicating in a way I've never done before, making difficult decisions just because I know where I'm at right now is not serving me. So I need to move on to something else because I know this isn't where I'm meant to be. And that can be really difficult. It is changing the way my daily routine looks, because sometimes you imagine where you want your life to be, but then you have to imagine, what would your day look like once you get there? Will it still look like it does now as you are, or will you have to change things up to live the way that you want to live? I want to say dream life, but I don't know about a dream life. I feel like a dream life is always changing and flowing, and sometimes what you think is your dream life ends up being something else. Do you know what I mean? And that's been a really good change for me, just trying to sit in that moment and be like, who do I need to be to get to where I need to? So what changes do I need to make in my life right now to be that person? Do you know what I mean? So for example, if you have a health and fitness goal, you know that you're going to have to be exercising regularly. What will your life look like when you're that person who is exercising regularly? You know, you have to start now. Like, okay, I'm going to be working out 3 times a week. Then start working out 3 times a week. Start getting active. Start doing the things that you need to do. Do you know what I mean? The stuff that I'm saying today is so basic, and you've probably heard it 1,000 times from every motivational speaker, every every person who's shared their experiences. But sometimes you just need that reminder to be like, no, I need to stop playing around. I need to actually make these changes right now. And change is uncomfortable and it's hard. And I used to hear people saying that. And I used to feel like, nah, I don't mind change. Like, I love change. If anything, change is exciting to me. But that was in terms of like my daily routine. I love a spontaneous daily routine. That's what I meant when it came to change, not me personally, the tough things that I have to do. And another thing to know is like a lot of the time when I do make these changes, I want to see instant results. And I want to be like, well, I'm doing all of these things and nothing looks good immediately. And that is another really tough thing, is that it takes time. There is stuff that I started doing months ago, work that I started doing months ago, that I'm only just seeing very small changes now come up. There's even some stuff that I started doing years ago, changes that I made years ago that only just starting to show up in my life now. Do you know what I mean? And hearing that makes you just go, oh, then what's the point? Like, I can't be bothered to wait for things to get better and to change. But honestly, once you get there, it is so worth it, because time is going to pass anyway. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, there is a lady just singing to herself, and I just love that. Oh, I just love seeing people being themselves. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm just watching her now. She's the cutest black lady and she's just singing to herself, living her best life. I love that. You go, girl. But yeah, I think this is one of the things I've actually really struggled with recently, where I will make changes and then I'll get so frustrated that I feel like those changes aren't coming up in my life already. Like, I'm already doing all the things I'm meant to. Where are my rewards? I want them now. But you don't always get rewarded straight away. What I've noticed, sometimes you get tested straight away. Like, you will get more resistance to the change you're trying to make. And sometimes you'll feel like, oh, does this mean like I'm not meant to be making these changes? No, it just takes a while for the physical, everything around you to start to align with the changes that you've made. Do you know what I mean? Because, oh my goodness, last week I decided, bam, I feel like a new person, and I felt like a new person in here. And I was like, all the work I've been doing is paying off, because I feel it. I feel the changes within myself, but the world hadn't changed around me. It was still the same. And so there were so many little things in my day frustrating me, which usually would have triggered a panic attack, triggered me to be so anxious, just like it would have just a few days ago, just a week before. But I was being tested heavily to be like, let's see if you are ready to be this new person, because everything around you is not going to change. It's you that's changed, how you react to it. And it was so funny because all those things did not impact my day. I was still happy. If anything, I was so proud of myself for overcoming things. But at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, I was exhausted. And I was like, please, I don't need anything else to go wrong. But getting through it meant I still did it. Instead of giving up, I still went for it, and I still got through the day. You know those days where it feels like everything is trying to break you, and then, like, you know, you walk past a door handle and you get a piece of clothing stuck, and that's it, and you just like freak out and you're like, I hate everything. Those are little tests sometimes. Well, for me, not all the time. Sometimes it's all right to have a bad day and just freak out. Trust me. It was like, sometimes you just have to power through and just see the funniness in it, because sometimes you can get a piece of clothing stuck on a door. It doesn't bother you. And you're just like, just unhook yourself from the door and you move on. Some days you will explode. Do you know what I mean? But it's about building that resilience that most of the time you're chilling. Sometimes you explode, because we all have our bad days, but it's all about breaking those cycles. And I just want to share this with you guys because I feel like I'm in a really beautiful period of my life where I can see certain cycles in my life ending, new cycles beginning. Like, I really feel like I'm in a new stage. I'm about to enter a new stage of my life where things are going to look so different. And I realized a lot of that is because of how much I've changed and how many changes I've put in place. And it's just like, wow, okay, I get it. I needed to change, and it's just so hard. And I wish I could share this with you guys, like just share this feeling of like, oh, the sweet relief of now things are just feel less chaotic. Because trust me, not even like 2 weeks ago did I feel like I was just at constant war in my own head, or just in constant war with the world, really. And now I have this sense of just resilience where I'm like, I have made these changes. I'm trusting the process. I'm letting go. I'm doing what I need to do to see the life that I want. And it's happening. Like, oh my goodness. Because also when you get past that hump of like things testing and being a bit resistant, you start to see little signs pop up to be like, you're doing well. You're doing really good. Like, yeah, this is paying off. Again, if you're spiritual, if you're religious, you'll totally get those little signs. But then also, if you're not, if you don't believe in anything, we can all agree that putting in work, you'll start to reap the results of the work that you're putting in no matter what. Do you know what I mean? That's all I wanted to really chat about today. I feel like I'm breaking out of cycles, and gosh, whenever I do these videos, I always feel like I've missed stuff out because I don't script anything. I just like loosely plan it and I just word vomit because it's just coming from here. It is coming from deep in here. My experiences that I'm having each week. Last week was about, stop hating your body. And I love that I did that video because it wasn't just for you guys, it was for me too. Because this week I'm hormonal. I feel a bit bloated. I feel like, everything that happens, I don't need to let you guys know, you know. But I put on this dress today and I was like, I want to feel pretty. And I feel pretty. So, these little chats with myself, and I hope these chats with you are helping just make life a little bit easier, make life a little bit lighter, a little bit happier at a time that I feel like we really need it. Because, gosh, I don't know if you guys feel it, like it just feels like things have gotten so much more difficult that the worst thing you can do at the moment is make things more difficult for yourself up here. So let's do that work. Let's break those cycles. Let's change our mindsets so that we can at least be at peace up here. There might be chaos out here, but up here, my guys, we've got peace. We're having a good time. Okay. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this. Please share any cycles that you're breaking out of right now. What are you doing differently? What do you want to do differently? And if you feel really stuck and lost, please feel free to comment down below. You guys are always so lovely and reply to others and encourage them and help them. I am always replying and helping you guys. And the least I can do is just be here and hold your hand during this difficult time. Because like I said, even though I'm like, you can make these changes and break out of these cycles, sometimes it's not the right time. Sometimes the timing can be a bit off and it might not happen for you today. It might not happen for you this week, but you might look back a few months later and be like, this is happening. Or even a year later and you're like, yes, I'm finally breaking out those cycles. I don't know what else I was going to say. I just felt really happy. I just wanted to smile a little bit. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.